but Minecraft is coming in the form of Minecraft Steve, Alex, the zombie, and Enderman. Is that right?
Yeah.
Into Smash Brothers. So, both Swinny and I are massive fans of Smash Brothers Ultimate. And, I think it was midweek we were chatting about actually doing like a really interesting sort of draft where we're trying to guess the rest of the 5 characters. And I think we joked that, there'll be a reveal. And we haven't had a reveal for like 3 or 4 months or something. And we're like, oh, you know what? It'll be this week when, they'll have a reveal. And sure enough, there was 24-hour notice that they're going to have a new Smash character. And it was even really interesting to me leading up to it where everyone was sort of assuming it was Crash Bandicoot because that was coming out this week. And I think there was a leaker that said, yes, it is Crash. And then what is it? It's Steve from Minecraft, which is pretty awesome. How did it hit you when you watched it? Because you watched it live, right?
Yeah, so it's fair. I saw a lot of reactions, first of all, about, oh, this is crazy, never thought this would happen.
Yeah,
and I'm sitting
so
reading these thinking, this is one of the most obvious DLC characters they could ever do for Smash at this point. Why are people acting like it's awesome? Like, don't get me wrong, I've seen it since especially the deep dive that they did last night on it, which we'll get into. But it's like this was going to happen. To act like this was just a meme is ridiculous. Like, it's one of the most biggest selling games in the world, one of the most popular games.
No, it is the number one. It is the number one. Yeah. 200 million copies. Yeah,
it's been long associated with Nintendo, and we know that Microsoft and Nintendo are very buddy these days. We've already got Banjo in there. Like, it was obvious this was going to happen. But in terms of my reaction, so when I saw it happen, I was like, yeah, that's okay, that kind of thing, And it wasn't more like, that's okay. It was literally like, that's okay, because they didn't show much in that trailer about how the character plays. So that's what I was more interested in seeing, honestly. And we got that last night, which we'll get into.
Yeah. And just looping back to everyone else's reactions, because I was the same as you. I was like really shocked at people going, oh, really? No, they can't. Oh, this is ridiculous. This is unbelievable. I mean, I don't want to reveal too much, but our little game that we have, and we will do it, but we'll probably have to put it on the back burner for a month or so at least. But, we had ranked the characters and, all these characters that we think are possibilities. We had Minecraft Steve, and we're both on the same page here. Minecraft Steve is like the highest rank in that pool of highest ranked characters, most likely, from our opinion. So I didn't get it. I was like, what are people talking about? He's put Piranha Plant in the game. Like, Minecraft Steve's not hard to put in the game per se. It's just like, it's going to take a lot of energy, time, effort. But I felt like out of any character out there, Minecraft Steve was almost the most inevitable character to ever come to Smash Brothers.
And the game's director, Masahiro Sakurai, he's publicly said that, hey, he plays Minecraft.
Yeah, he's a fan of the game.
Yeah, so
it sells incredibly well in Japan. Like, that's always a bit of a factor with Nintendo, because whatever you want to say, they're very Japanese centric.
For me, it was just a matter of time. I didn't know 100% if it was going to be DLC for this game, but it was just a matter of time, regardless.
And Minecraft in it. Before even Smash launched, like, I was very adamant that Steve was going to come, and I was kind of actually shocked he didn't come in the first pack, because I think I said to you like ages ago before the podcast started, I thought they were going to incorporate it in the DLC pack, because my understanding is they get more money from it. So even the third parties. So, I thought, yeah, they're going to have it as like the 5th character. It probably would have went down a little bit better for Nintendo if he was the 5th character over Byleth, even though I like Byleth. But that was strange. And did you watch the subsequent follow-up that happened last night at the time of recording, where they actually went through the moveset and everything?
Oh, definitely, because that's what I was most interested in seeing. And oh my god, this seems like the most complicated Smash character ever. Like, this is crazy. This is absolutely insane, this character.
Well, it's not just the character, it's the stages. They had to go rework or at least think through every single stage in the game, which is like, how many stages are there? Like 60 or something like that? It's something ridiculous.
There's close to 100 at this point.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Yeah, geez. So they had to go back and think like how the block's going to work on every stage, the limits around it, like just unbelievable. Like you gotta really tip your hat massively to Nintendo and to Sakurai in particular. Like the amount of work, love that they put into this game, and it really just puts gamers in such a bad light that Sakurai is the same guy that people have like given death threats to. And I know it's like a very small minority of people, but it should be no one. You know what I mean? Like, are people kidding themselves here? It's like, yeah, I would love if the network connections improved for the game, but it doesn't stop me enjoying it.
This year, if anything, this year's made me realize that whole, it's a small subset of horrible people in gaming, that applies to every part of society at this point. Yeah. I think 2020 has proven that to me.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. It's just that gaming, there's so much about passion and love for gaming. It's just like very frustrating that people take this weird mentality. Like we've even seen the backlash with the fanboyism, where people are like, oh, you're almost like a shill for like Microsoft or for Sony, depending on their viewpoint more than our viewpoint. But I think we're both pretty independent with those kind of things. And yeah, it's just bizarre to me that anyone can really have like very aggressive criticism against Sakurai and Smash when this game has delivered so much. Like it's insane to me. And this is just for like a DLC. Like, think about any other company. This is like a $7-8 DLC. If you look at, Street Fighter, they have the exact same pricing, or I think it's a little bit less, but you don't get like a tenth of what you get from Smash.
Well, I guess going back to the character itself. They went so full in on this that we all expected, okay, they're gonna be able to build a block, or they're gonna be able to do this and this and this. I didn't even think they're going to be able to mine and manage resources, which is obviously key to Minecraft. Well, even crafting I kind of almost expected, but to then say, well, it's crafting, but you actually have resources and there's a resources bar. It's really interesting in that whole video last night that they going through all of this talking about, and it will use iron, it will use this, but they specifically didn't show you how that actually looks above the character's icon. And then when they showed that, I'm like, what is going on? Like I play a lot of Hero, and I'm getting used to having to manage like the menu down there often. Yeah. But this is like another level of stuff. And I'm sure it will feel more natural if you actually like when you play it. But man, there's been so much put into this, but this character, I will say, has the potential to be the most broken, and also if something is wrong about it, and I'm sure they'll patch it out, but like this character, I could see being almost like the first banned character in tournaments out of Smash Bros. Ultimate. Like specifically about the block building mechanic, for like people trying to recover and stuff. Like some of that stuff looks just on the surface like it could be exploited so much. It's going to be really interesting.
And we're probably not doing a good job at describing, what the character does. So, from the normal attacks, he's a swordie. So he actually has a sword. But again, the sword and, all of this stuff around this character as you're describing it, I was like, oh my God, this is going to be such a swingy character. It's so gimmicky. There's so many gimmicks on it, until they said that the weapons, like his sword, it actually will break over time. And then I'm like, oh no, he can't stomach that. This is why he hates Breath of the Wild.
Hey, we talked about, I play a lot of RPGs that have weapon degradation. I have no problem against weapon degradation in general.
Oh my God, I gotta put a marker on the time here, timestamp this, and then bring this back to our mega episode about Breath of the Wild. No,
I have no problem about that in general. I just don't like it in a Zelda game. Like, I play, like, Dark Souls has weapon degradation, like so many do, like I love those games and I have no problem with that. But I guess going back to this character with that is that, like, Hero has a limited, uses for his moveset and stuff. Like, I'm fine with that stuff. But it's it's going to be really interesting to see how this character plays with that, because it's that like you have a crafting thing table you need to go back to build them. It's crazy.
Well, he's regular, and I do get this. I get thrown sometimes with Hero. His regular moveset. There's a lot of like things about it. He's got swords. He's got the pickaxe. He's got pistons. Like a whole bunch of stuff for his smash attacks. So he's actually a pretty interesting character. He's more of a. I know he's got a sword, but to me, he feels a bit more like a melee character, like a brawler almost, than a swordy.
I hate the whole swordy thing, because like sword is just a stand. That's the most common melee weapon in history and in media.
Yeah.
Like that's just the way it is. Like, doesn't mean something's going to play like Marth.
Yeah, no, that's kind of what I'm trying to say. That I wouldn't put him in the whole swordy camp per se, and even the sword will break, and then he can only use his fists. So that's the whole kind of first component of the character. And then it's going back to what you were saying, that he can mine, then he has resources, and then depending on the stage, he'll get different resources. And then there's certain parts of every single stage now that he'll get certain resources, or she'll get certain resources. It's like insane. And then he gets all the resources, and then the crafting table can actually be summoned into different parts of the level, and then you need to use a crafting table to then craft weapons. And you can go from like having a wooden sword all the way up to having a diamond sword. It's insane, this character. This character is like wild. It's really, really cool. Like it's like, and then I kind of can't believe how they've put it all together. It's pretty amazing.
So, and then they go, we've got the block building, right? Which will use the lowest, common resources you've got. And, there are limits on what you can build, and you can only build so far out, and the blocks can get destroyed, and they'll disintegrate when you stand on them too long and things like that. But the thing that to me just felt so out of place is that they've brought back gliding in the recovery. I can't remember what they called the recovery.
Yeah. That's right.
But the gliding, they've brought back Meta Knight and Pit's gliding, and I'm like, people didn't like this. Like, I know you're not going to be able to probably do the air combos that Meta Knight could do that made him broken in Brawl, but I'm like, when I saw that, I'm like, oh no, his gliding's back. It looks less awkward, I'll say, than what it did in Brawl though. So I think they've done a better job to implement it, but
because I don't know Minecraft that well, but isn't it like after defeating some like dragon or something, he's got the ability to fly?
So I've put a lot of time into Minecraft, but it was all before when they introduced the whole Ender Dragon update, which was a while ago. I'm not saying that's like recent. So I'm assuming that you're talking about the Ender Dragon there. I generally played it on Xbox, and it was up until the point where that stuff started to come in, and I kind of just lost a little bit of interest because they made a change that screwed up my whole plan. So I just that's it. I'm over this. I'm done.
And there's just like, we're not doing it justice. Go and watch the video, because there's just so much to it. Like, and we typically, if there's a minute worth of footage, we'll probably talk about it for 5 minutes. So if we actually did that for every component, it would be here for hours. And I think until we get the character, and we should say the character's coming out in Australia the 14th of October, and in the States it would be the 13th of October. So I'm really glad that it's not weeks and weeks and weeks. I actually really do prefer when they just say, here's a character, like we didn't know about it, and then it actually comes out pretty soon after that. I wasn't the hugest fan of what they did with ARMS. I know it was kind of a way to drum up interest, because people were like, oh, what character from ARMS is it? But it just felt like it was dragging on for so long. Like, I'd rather just hear nothing and then hear something, and it's like, okay, it's a few weeks away. Although it was kind of interesting, because he was actually Sakurai, because he was the one who presented, again, from his house, the actual video of how Steve and Alex works, but he actually filmed it in mid-August, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah, there is one thing about this character that it's not about the character itself, but there's been so much work put into this character to make them so faithful, and a lot of the DLC characters have been the same.
Yeah.
That you just look at Ganondorf and you're like, man,
dude.
like, I wish they would have put so much more like effort into the characters that they have, you know, to make them more faithful to their character.
I'm going to blow up at you about this. I'm going to blow up about you because we're definitely going to talk about this at some stage. But, you know, because Smash Ultimate, it's kind of, to me, putting the Smash franchise at risk or something because it's becoming like so big. It's just so hard to top it. And I've said this to you before and you totally disagreed with me historically. I was like, I think I'd like to see them pare it back so aggressively to like 30 characters or something. But everything they're doing with these DLC characters, I'd love if they redid all the characters from scratch. Like Mario, Link.
That's what I disagreed with. I don't disagree with them doing for all. I'm talking about overhauling. Overhauling certain characters that have historically just been like Ganondorf was a Captain Falcon clone, you know. And they've made some slight changes like that. It gave him a sword and everything, but it's like he still doesn't feel like you're playing as Ganon, in my opinion. And the same could probably be said, you know, like unfortunately it's Echo Fighters, so it is what it is. But you know, Dark Samus is a perfect example there, where it's just like, you know, this character just had so much more potential. So I'm not talking about all of them. I'm talking about these specific ones.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah, we definitely have a different take on that because I would love if for this next Smash game they, you know, pared it back and really rethought all the characters from scratch again. Because I just think, you know, they're very stale, like the original. Like, having gone back now and play Melee and a few other games, I was like, wow, there's so many moves that are actually still the same. Which I know is probably, like, for people who are massive fans of the series, they like that. But, I don't know, I think there's a huge opportunity to do what they're doing with these DLCs, where they're just going over the top with the special moves, and then integrating that into the main characters. But anyway, that's a different conversation. And with like the other thing that we haven't mentioned, there's so much stuff in here and it's so cool and I can't wait to play it, is that the levels, just like Minecraft, will like be auto-generated. So it's like a different, like the Minecraft level will be different every time you play it, which is so sick.
And yeah, and they've got the different biomes, which is cool because that is such a big part of Minecraft, is just, you know, having different looking trees and depending on the biome that, you know, your seed has been generated in and things like that. So they've done such an amazing job with the levels, and even just having day-night cycles where you know, the villagers will, you know, go back into their homes and go to sleep. And we didn't, like, one of the things about the character that I forgot to mention was I love the fact that when Jigglypuff puts the character to sleep, they're actually in the Minecraft bed, which is just made me laugh so much when I saw it.
Yeah, that was cool. And then also the thing that we were waiting for was Kirby. Like what happened with Kirby when Kirby sucks in Steve or Alex. And yeah, it's so awesome. They revealed it. And they actually put some more photos out on Twitter. It's like literally like a block. It just it just looks so cool. It's just such a fun series. It's so cool. And I have to wonder if they are going... I know they've already said that DLC Pack 2 is the final one, but like they've just announced that they've sold 20 million copies of the game. Like, surely they could do another series of DLC, like another 5 characters or something.
I just want them to keep doing the DLC forever, honestly. Just keep giving us DLC packs.
Yeah, but I kind of like, honestly though, like, it's a lot of money that they're leaving on the table, I'd say. Because what are they going to do? They're just never ever going to be able to get all these characters back. You know, so this game is kind of going to be the ultimate game for a long time. So yeah, I kind of agree. I just think just keep going hard. Give us everyone. Give us Goku. Nah, I don't want Goku in Smash.
So they announced some of the Mii Fighter costumes as well, right?
Yes. And you know, I'm actually a big purchaser, weirdly enough, of these Mii Fighter costumes. Because I feel like it's a good troll when I play you guys.
They did the what's the name of the shooting one? What's that? What's the name of the projectile Mii Fighter?
Gunner,
yeah. They did Gunner dirty. There's like no Gunner costumes in this whole set.
Well, yeah, you know why? Because there's been so many Mii Gunner costumes that are popular.
Okay. Yeah. But what's interesting, and I didn't click with it till last night. So you know how sometimes they have these third party or second party or whatever Mii Fighter costumes, but they don't use the name of the game. So they had Smash Brothers cross Altair instead of Assassin's Creed and things like that, and they had cross Travis. And I kind of clicked last night. I'm like, it's because these games are like M-rated games, isn't it?
No. It's okay. So I do know the details on this. This is not planned, but this is a difference, weirdly enough, between Nintendo UK and Nintendo USA. So one of them always refers to the series, and the other one always refers to the character. And I can't remember which one's which, but depending on what stream you're looking at, or like even what information that's being shared online, like I said, like they actually say the opposite. So one of them says the character, the other one says the series.
But in the same video last night, they had Tao of Druaga, which is a Bandai Namco game, and I know they work on this game. Don't get me wrong, but they had that, and then they had Travis.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Travis,
yeah, that was a bit odd.
In the same video.
Yeah, no, that was odd. But like what I said, typically is how it works out, because I know that's what happened with Assassin's Creed. Like one of them had Smash Cross Assassin's Creed, the other one was like Smash Cross Altair.
Okay, because the only 3 games I've seen are all M-rated games. Plus,
I don't think that matters. Because I've seen one where they had Bayonetta, and that's like R in some regions.
Okay, yeah, but Bayonetta is probably a bit different because Nintendo published Bayonetta 2. So there's probably maybe they felt that was different. But anyway, that's just that's a thought that came to my mind. It's like all these games had that in common, whereas all the other games I see it are definitely not like M-rated games. So anyway,
yeah. So was there any?
You're probably right, but
I'm just looking it up now in the background. But were there any of the Mii Fighter costumes that you were like, oh, okay, I might pick that up, or you just want to surprise me one day with it?
No, the only Mii Fighter costume I ever needed was Goemon. That's all I ever needed, and I played him like 5 times and haven't used it again.
So, like, yeah. So we probably should say what they are. So we had three from Minecraft, right? So it's Creeper, Pig, and Diamond Armor. First sword fighter. And then, yeah, what was the one that the Japanese game that I've never really heard of?
It's Gil from Tao of Druaga, which is a Bandai Namco game. It's like, I can't remember, it's like a classic game. I just don't know much details about it.
Yeah, I don't know. You know what you're saying about people avoiding the ratings? Maybe that is true. Yeah. Because, like, when they have it, they actually do put it on. I can send you the links, but I've got one where it has No More Heroes, I think, in the UK stream.
Okay.
Yeah, kind of interesting. And just to round it out, so we had Bomberman as a brawler. I think I'm going to pick that up. I love Bomberman. I just thought it was odd, though, that depending on what your Mii... I didn't really understand what they were saying. It sounded like, depending on the color of your Mii, like it changes the color of Bomberman.
I have no idea. I have no idea.
You didn't pick that up?
I just don't know. I don't know what they're talking about. What else can I say?
You know the Mii fighters, I think you can give them a color. Like I usually give it purple. So I think my Bomberman would be purple then. That's how I understand it.
Then why are you asking me if you already knew? I don't know.
And the other one that we haven't mentioned is Travis Touchdown coming in the game. So that officially deconfirms Travis as being one of the characters. I think we ranked Travis pretty high, actually, to get into the game.
Yeah, he was actually in the... second thoughts, I probably shouldn't have. He was actually in the top because No More Heroes 3 was coming out. So it's like, well, yeah, maybe. But clearly he's not coming to Smash as a playable character anymore.
What's the guy's name? Pseudo 51, is that?
Pseudo 51.
I can't... Isn't there a band called Sum 51? Or is it Sum 41?
41 sounds better. That's because it's Goichi Suda. So Go is 5 and Ichi is 1. So
yeah, Sum 41. There's a band Sum 41. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. Look, I didn't think he was quite. I wasn't going to pick him, but so I'm kind of annoyed because I felt like you might have picked him. But yeah, I didn't think it was as likely. But you know, they are really close. Sakurai and what is his name? Pseudo 51.
Suda51
Suda
with an
51.
A. Suda.
Suda51.
Yes.
So yeah, I thought that was a really good chance, but yeah, it didn't pan out. I mean, you know, getting in even as a costume, I reckon would be awesome. Like if you made that character, that would be so sick to pop up in the game.
I'm fairly certain he may already be possibly Sticker, is he not?
Travis.
Yeah, I thought he might have been a Sticker already. Spirit, sorry. Sticker, I'm thinking of Wii U or whatever, Brawl or whatever it was.
I don't recall. I mean, there's like 1,400 spirits, so
anyway,
I've got them all. But yeah, no. Like, you know, I guess we'll share our thoughts in a couple of weeks' time because this is only coming out in about 10 days, so it's gonna be pretty cool. Well, what are the chances that you'll be your Steve main?
Well, I said, look, honestly, I play so many characters already that just adding another one to the mix is going to be interesting. But I'll try him out. Honestly, like on the surface, doesn't look like a character I'd probably want to play as, but we'll see.
Yeah. No, I'm pumped for it. I'm not very good at these system characters where there's like a lot of things to manage. So I'll give it a crack and everything, but yeah, typically like I'll struggle. And then let's be real, I'm just like an inkling main for life. I just can't get away from my girl. So I'll never change the character. Just can't. I always play anyone else and I'm like, oh damn, I just want to go back to inkling where things work right. But you know, one thing we haven't mentioned, Swinny, the most important revelation, not Steve, not the stages that will effectively give this game infinite amount of stages because they're auto-generated.